Well, good evening. We're here with StabtheDragon Productions to do a movie review of Sunset Boulevard from 1950. Here's the DVD case. You can see the cover a little bit. Sometime in the past several months, I saw a reference to this 1950 movie that caught my attention. It was in a book. I thought I knew which book and I looked through the book and I couldn't find it. So I was reading a book and I saw this movie referenced, and I think it was a book. So I ordered the movie because it sounded great. My wife and I watched it in August of 2021, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It creeped my wife out just a little bit, and you'll pick up on that as we go through this review. Because the movie tells the story of an aging star from the silent film era, Norma Desmond, who did not make the transition to the talkies, and she's desperate to make a comeback. In fact, Norma is going crazy. Well, no, she is crazy, and her butler is assisting her in the journey. This is a film noir murder mystery with a strong moral message and gives us an inside look at Hollywood and our own souls. Now, before we get any further in this review, I want to play some music. This is from Elaine Paige singing As If We Never Said Goodbye from the Andrew Lloyd Webber version of Sunset Boulevard that was on stage several years later, and then Elaine Paige was in it sometime in recent years. So here's some music.
Miss Desmond? Hey, Miss Desmond! Up here, Miss Desmond! Let's get a look at you! I don't know why I'm frightened. I know my way around here. Cardboard trees, the painted seas, the sound here. Yes, a world to rediscover, but I'm not in any hurry, and I need a the whispered conversations in overcrowded hallways. The atmosphere is thrilling here, as always. Feel the early morning madness. Feel the magic in the making. Everything's as if we never said goodbye. I spent so many mornings just trying to resist you.
I love Elaine Paige. I mean, she did Cats, the musical, many years ago. And I think this production may have been done before that. So this may be 20, 25, 30 years ago. I could not find a date for it. But what I couldn't find the soundtrack for the movie that I watched. And so I found Elaine Paige singing this song, and this was just a fantastic song. So I would love to see the stage production of this. I love live theater, and that would just be awesome to see that. But I'd never even heard of it before until I was researching this movie. So Sunset Boulevard was produced by Charles Brackett and directed by the great Billy Wilder. Screenplay by Charles Brackett, Billy Wilder, and D.M. Marshman. This was a Paramount picture from 1950 starring William Holden as Joe Gillis, Gloria Swanson as Norma Desmond, Eric von Stroheim as Max von Merling, Jack Webb as Artie Green. Nancy Olson as Betty Schaefer. Cecil B. DeMille has a part in this movie. The runtime was an hour and 50 minutes, black and white, not rated. This movie was nominated for 11 Academy Awards. It was nominated for Best Screenplay, Best Art Direction, Best Scoring. In 1989, the movie was selected in the first group of 25 films for preservation in the National Film Registry. And in 1998, it was ranked number 12 in the American Film Institute's list of the 100 best American films of the 20th century. And I would have to agree, this film is greatness. This movie really helped William Holden's career. Montgomery Clift was the original choice for the part, but he backed out of the contract and Billy Wilder got a hold of Holden in for the picture. Holden got his first Oscar nomination with this picture, and he worked well with Billy Wilder, who then brought him in to work on Stalag 17 a couple of years later, where Holden did win the Oscar for Best Actor. Holden, like many other Hollywood stars, served in the Army during World War II, making training films, holding the rank of first lieutenant. In 1957, Holden landed what was probably his most famous movie, starring with Alec Guinness in Bridge on the River Kwai. He was number 25 in the American Film Institute's top 25 greatest male stars of classic Hollywood cinema. And in 1952, Holden served as the best man in the wedding of Ronald Reagan and Nancy Davis. Holden was a lifelong conservative Republican, but he just wasn't outspoken in politics. The movie gives us an inside look at Hollywood that caused me to remember another favorite movie, Singing in the Rain, 1952, Gene Kelly, Gene Hagen, Debbie Reynolds, Donald O'Connor. The story is about what happens when the quest for fame, glory, and wealth goes to an unhealthy excess and true mental and moral illness sets in, takes over. Joe Gillis, William Holden, is a scriptwriter. He's in debt. He cannot pay his bills because he's not had any scripts bought lately, so he's kind of a has-been. Here I was reminded of F. Scott Fitzgerald, the author of The Great Gatsby and Tales of the Jazz Age, who tried working for Hollywood a couple of times, but with no real success. Through an odd circumstance, he was being chased by his debtors, his debt collectors. He stumbles into the aging and unkempt mansion of Norma Desmond, Gloria Swanson, who was a silent movie star but had failed to make the transition to the talkies. She's lost touch with reality. She's living in the past and is assisted in this journey to insanity by her faithful butler, Max, Erich von Stroheim, who could also be described as crazy by the time you get to the end of the film. Joe is driven by his need for money and his need to return to success in Hollywood, so he, reluctantly, guiltily, becomes the live-in scriptwriter and lover for Norma, who is desperate to return to the big screen. The age difference between the two is about 20 years, and that plays a key role in their dynamic in the movie. The movie only hints at the possibility of the two becoming lovers as Joe takes a script that Norma's been working on and he tries to rework it while getting paid and then maintained by Norma. Essentially, he becomes her boy toy. The entire setup makes Joe disgusted with himself. He knows what he's doing is wrong, and it shows he may have a conscience, which is probably unusual for Hollywood. Working for Norma spurs Joe on to actually work on a real script with Betty Schaefer, played by Nancy Olson. He's working with her at night on the script that he had shown her earlier. And so Norma's got him working on this fake baloney script that she's written, put together. She wants to make a big comeback in the movies. And yet Joe is really trying on something serious. Well, Norma becomes insanely jealous. Isn't she already insane? And the ending is, well, this film is a film noir, is it not? And as for Max, well, there's a last-minute surprise there as well. As a Hollywood insider, film This is about Hollywood. Sunset Boulevard has several surprises, including the roles of several silent movie stars appearing in this movie, like Gloria Swanson herself and Cecil B. DeMille, and many others. When you go through the cast list, there's a lot of silent movie people there and a lot of inside Hollywood people. So this is a serious look at the lifestyle of those who live along Sunset Boulevard. And one simply cannot imagine a similar movie being made today. What is the Stab the Dragon rating for this film? I give it an A+. This is a must-see. I highly recommend it. I would recommend this film especially to the younger crowd of Gen Xers and Millennials so they can better understand the history of Hollywood. This movie would be an excellent choice for any movie watching clubs out there, particularly those with Christian worldviews. There's a whole lot of gold to mine in this movie. What is the gospel point? In the Old Testament book of Daniel, chapter 4, is the story of King Nebuchadnezzar's humiliation. His pride at his accomplishments and his wealth led to God striking him with insanity for a while. Fame, wealth, power, the beauty and health of youth all fade like a mist and do not ultimately satisfy the human soul. As we grasp for the pleasures and wealth of this world, we fall into a never-ending spiral downwards. It's only when the Lord turns our hearts toward Christ that we can see what is of ultimate value. Hollywood is a fantastic tale of man's talents and creativity, his energy, but the glitz and glamour can also be a painful illusion and false idol. So seek his kingdom, his righteousness, and his glory that never fades. This movie is excellent for showing some honesty about the emptiness that is abounding in Hollywood and in the world generally. This is not just for movie stars. This is about us. It's all too easy to bash Hollywood all the time. So when there's a movie that actually agrees with some of God's general revelation or special revelation, the Bible, we should take notice, dig a little bit, and look for the buried treasure. This movie is definitely a treasure. It's well worth your time and demonstrates that pride comes before the fall as Norma comes down the staircase at the end of the movie. Well, thank you for joining me with another Stab the Dragon movie review, and we will see you next time.